You wake up, grab your phone, scroll. Asterisk, bad news, perfect lives, chaos in high definition. You haven't even left the bed, but you're already on autopilot. Anxious, stressed, tired, but nothing outside changed. The street is still there. The people are the same. The only thing that changed is the mental filter you started the day with. Here's the harsh truth. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. Your mind isn't a window. It's a mirror. It reflects your beliefs, your fears, your wounds, your unresolved stories. The same day can feel like a blessing or a burden, depending on who's living it inside. That's why some people with everything feel empty, while others, with almost nothing, walk with peace in their eyes. It all starts inside. But most people live waiting for life out there to get better. For the perfect job, the right love, the ideal body. Then, maybe, they'll be okay. That's a lie. A trap set by an untrained mind. Thinking this way makes you a hostage. You react to everything. You depend on everything. And when things go wrong, you feel lost, helpless. But James Allen said it best. A man is literally what he thinks. His character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. What you live today, good or bad, started with a thought, conscious or not. The problem is, no one taught us how to think properly. We learn dates, formulas, rules. But not that every thought is a seed. And if you don't tend your mental garden, weeds grow, not miracles. What you repeat inside becomes your reality outside. Not by magic, but by logic. You think fear gives act hesitantly, gives harvest weak results. You think clearly gives act decisively, gives create aligned results. So before blaming the world, ask yourself, what mindset are you seeing it through? Before blaming others, notice what thoughts you're feeding. Because while you wait for the outside world to change, to feel okay, you'll stay stuck. But if you change your mind, your focus, your inner story, everything starts to shift, everything resets, because the mind is the source, and the world is the reflection at the end. The most important mirror isn't in the bathroom, it's in your head, and it shows you every day what you still refuse to face. Asterisk, ever feel like no matter where you go or who you meet, the same problems follow, the same kind of boss, the same conflicts, the same failures? Coincidence? Nope. It's a pattern. And where do these patterns come from? The mind. The thoughts you repeat without realizing. The invisible code programmed inside you running on autopilot. These codes come from experiences, beliefs, wounds, things you heard as a kid, words that stuck, pain swallowed silently. The crazy part, you think you're making the decisions, but really, the program is running. You say you want peace, but you keep getting into fights. You say you want success, but sabotage yourself at the last minute. You say you want love, but only attract shallow relationships. It's not bad luck. It's repeated mindset. Your mind creating realities that match the patterns it knows even, if they hurt. Why? Because the subconscious doesn't seek what's good, it seeks what's familiar. And if what's familiar to you is scarcity, fear, or abandonment, guess what? You'll keep attracting and living. Harsh, but true. That's why changing the mind is more than thinking positive. Slapping on motivational quotes won't cut it if deep down you still believe you can't, don't deserve, or it's harder for you than for others. The mind only changes when you face those patterns with presence and courage. You need to start observing and ask, is this thought true? Or just an old habit? Is that voice in my head mine, or an echo of fear or the past? What am I repeating in my mind, and where is it taking me? That's where change begins. Because when you recognize those invisible codes, you stop identifying with them. You realize they were learned and can be unlearned. The mind is like a computer. You can update the system, but it takes focus, repetition, and intention. No magic, just a real path, silence, writing, honest questions, meditation, conscious reprogramming, consistent action, and above all, responsibility. Because once you see your thoughts create your results, no more excuses, no more victimhood. Only creator will you keep running the same broken code, or take the keyboard and rewrite your story. Asterisk, when you start changing inside, the outside world resists, because people got used to your old version, and the world you built matches that version. At first, changing your mind is uncomfortable. It's like swapping the floor while you're still walking on it. You want to stop self-sabotaging, but fear kicks in. You want to stop reacting with anger, but triggers fire. You want to think differently, but everything pulls you back to the old you. And then comes the doubt. Am I doing this right? Does this even work? It does, but here's the catch. It's not pretty. Changing inside is messy. It's hard. It's quiet. No fireworks, likes, or medals. It's you with yourself, looking fear in the eye, forgiving old memories, repeating new thoughts 1,000 times until the old ones lose strength, falling, getting up, messing up, moving forward. That's why so many quits. They expected magic. But this is emotional engineering. Construction work, and every construction site has debris. There will be days your mind screams, go back to the old ways. It was easier. That's when you have to be the adult. Remember, ease is not freedom. The known path is comfortable. It keeps you stuck. Want real change? Here's the truth. Thoughts don't change on their own. You have to choose the new. Repeat the new. Act as if it's already real, even if you don't feel it yet, even if you don't fully believe it, even with the old voice yelling in the background. That's how new patterns form. You think, I'm capable. The old voice says, no way. You think again and again and again, until the new thought stops sounding strange. Then it becomes habit. Habit becomes belief. Belief becomes reality. That's the process. And if you stay consistent, the inevitable happens. Things around you start to change. Relationships improve. Opportunities appear. You start acting differently, effortlessly, because the hard work happened inside and the world just responds. That's how the inner creates the outer. Not self-help fluff, neuroscience, logic, spiritual practice turned routine. Every day you have two choices: feed what always was, or plant what could be. Don't wait until you're ready. Plant now, because the mind resisting today will thank you tomorrow. Asterisk, there comes a point when you realize you can't blame anyone else anymore. Not your past, your parents, the system, the government, your ex, guess, all that shaped you. But it doesn't have to define you, because your mind isn't a life sentence. It's a work in progress, and good work takes time, focus, and energy. But it's worth every drop. Why? Because you start experiencing a peace that depends on no one, an inner silence that doesn't suffocate you, a kind of confidence that doesn't shout but holds your hand through the storm. People notice. They can't explain it, but they feel it. You're no longer on the frequency of lack, urgency, or desperation. You're steady, centered, aware. It doesn't make you perfect, but it makes you present. And that changes everything, because when you live in the now consciously, you don't react, you choose. You don't repeat, you create. You don't survive, you build. And even if the world stays the same, you're not. The old you would have freaked out. Now you breathe. The old you would have run away. Now you face it. The old you would have quit. Now you persist, calmer, but with sharp focus. That's where the shift happens. When you realize the outside world doesn't need to change for you to be at peace, because peace now comes from inside. It's earned, not bought. Cultivated, not handed over. And the more you keep this internal vibe, the more reality responds. The pieces fall into place. Doors open. The world dances to the rhythm of your awareness. Seems like magic, but it's just internal coherence reflected. Outward, that's real power. Not to control the world, but to control yourself, because whoever masters their mind doesn't need to control anything else. Asterisk, if this message landed for you, do this. Like the video, it tells the algorithm this. Content needs to reach more people. Comment below what hit you most, or how you're facing your inner battles. Your story can inspire others. And subscribe to the channel, because here we don't sell magic formulas. We deliver vision, awareness, and words that truly transform, save. This series, come back anytime your mind tries to pull you back to old ways, and share with someone on the same path. Because changing alone is possible, but walking together makes the journey lighter and faster. Nothing changes outside until you change inside, and you just proved you've already begun.